Hello, and welcome back to Bay Area Housewife of True Crime, where I like to tell the stories of the real cucuys and lloronas of the world. We are at part 6 on my series of the Hans Reiser case. As a reminder, topics may be triggering. Viewer and listener discretion is very strongly advised. The people mentioned are innocent until proven guilty in court. In September of 2004, Hans improper, or acting as his own attorney, filed a response to the divorce petition Nina had filed. In his response, he described what was happening as, quote, what appears to be a mother spiraling downwards in mental instability, that she was a product of a KBG-dominated society. Hans even alleged being the victim of domestic violence at the hands of Nina. As far as he was concerned with regards to video games, it was a natural part of male bonding, according to him, similar to going to a football game. Hans even said that the video games would benefit Rory as games required to work on hand-eye coordination. In May of 2005, Nina took Rory to Dr. Peter Koltai, another ENT at Stanford Medical Center, for a second opinion. Dr. Koltai determined that Rory had significant hearing loss, that of essentially having plugged ears, and also recommended surgery. Dr. Koltai was not safe from the wrath of Hans and received several menacing calls and emails threatening a malpractice suit. Hans was also accusing Nina of the unauthorized practice of medicine, as she was not technically licensed to practice in the U.S. Nina responded with, quote, of course I cannot practice medicine in this country as I am not licensed. However, I cannot remove the medical knowledge and experience from my functioning as a caring parent. What do the kids say? In June of 2005, Nina sent Han an email inquiring about his contribution to their kids' tuition at Grand Lake Montessori, because if he was not going to help, they would have to consider other options. Also in June, Nina and Hans started attending sessions with the mediator and psychologist in Berkeley. One of the sessions was abruptly ended by the psychologist after Hans threatened Nina with physical harm. In July of 2005, Nina asked Hans to be held in contempt for failing to pay child support. The man was making over $10,000 a month, yet nothing was coming from him in any way of financial assistance to his 2 kids. Also in July of 2005, the custody exchanges had gotten so tense that they started occurring at the OPD's admin building on Stevenson near Broadway. Officer Ben Denson started to get to know the Reiser family. He was one of those officers that made an effort to turn stressful situations into something positive, often playing with the kids while they waited for their dad to come get them. Officer Denson was a seasoned cop and noticed how Hans was hostile towards Nina regardless of being at the police station, and told Nina straight up that she needed to get herself a gun. In August of 2005, Hurricane Katrina devastated New Orleans, and Nina and Sean organized donations through Craigslist and church for emergency relief efforts, volunteers, and assistance. This and so many other ways just goes to show how pure-hearted Nina truly was. On September 7th of 2005, Hans called Alameda County CPS's hotline and reported Nina had Munchausen by proxy disorder. The very next day, his attorney, John Fury, filed a cross complaint against Sean. According to the filing, quote, Sean did willfully and intentionally conspire with my wife and others to induce my wife to steal my business and clients, and he did attempt to do so by drugging her, seducing her, and conspiring with her to steal my business and clients. Sean did influence, cajole, manipulate, conspire, and intentionally act to steal money from my business and blah, blah, blah. On September 12th of 2005, Nina emailed Hans because she was worried that Rory's surgery was 6 months overdue. The adenoidectomy was scheduled and rescheduled, and until finally in October of 2005, Rory finally had his ear surgery. Nina was a hands-on mom, very involved and active, the main caregiver in her children's life. On September 25th of 2005, Rory celebrated his 6th birthday party at an indoor trampoline place, and at one point, Nina was jumping and having fun with the kids, having a blast, as opposed to Hans, who exhibited such scary behavior that by October of 2005, the head of Grand Lake Montessori ordered that no teacher would meet with Hans alone. On December 5th of 2005, Nina was awarded sole legal custody for all matters, including medical, educational, and welfare issues with regards to her children. Nina was also granted a 1-year restraining order whereby Hans was restricted to stay within 100 feet from her, and that they may only communicate via email. By April of 2006, teachers at Grand Lake Montessori noticed Hans brought the kids to school lacking basic hygiene and often forgot to pack their lunch. A teacher reported that Rory had told her to shut up and that he did not have to listen to her because she was a woman and women do not have rights. In June of 2006, Nina was left with no choice but to withdraw Rory and Nio from Grand Lake Montessori, as Hans no longer was paying child support, long ago stopped, and she could no longer afford the tuition. In August of 2006, Nina consulted a bankruptcy attorney. Nina wanted to file for Chapter 7 because she owed $83,000 in credit card debt. After her first meeting, they scheduled another meeting for September 20th of 2006. That same month, Grand Lake Montessori had a party for parents where Hans showed up and for small talk provided remarks about how his family was a financial burden and he'd be better off financially if he did not have to take care of them. Also in August of 2006, Sean dismissed the civil lawsuit against Hans after Hans agreed to pay him $10,000. Rory and Nio started attending Joaquin Miller Elementary School on August 27th of 2006. That same day, Nina wrote a check for $497 to cover 6 weeks of after-school care at Adventure Time. On August 31st of 2006, Nina was offered a job with the San Francisco Health Department. She was over the moon. It was the perfect job for her as it had to do with helping Russian immigrants. She negotiated her flexible hours and a $50,000 salary. Nina talked to her mom over the phone on September 3rd of 2006, and they caught up on her new job. Nina was so grateful that it came with medical insurance. They had no way of knowing that this would be the last time that they spoke to each other.